Right now, he's the MD and one of the co-founders of an amazing agency called Avatar. I know when you guys drive down the road, you'll see their big building, which looks beautiful. He's the boss there. So please put your hands together for Veli Ngubane.
Thank you so much for coming. I thank God that I'm here to be able to influence minds and hopefully share my story that could inspire your journey. It's really a privilege to speak to entrepreneurs, and it's really a privilege to see so many entrepreneurs together, because alone you are kind of crazy. So in this collective craziness, you are at home here. So feel comfortable with that. So I'm going to take you through Avatar. I'm going to take you through the Avatar story. I'm going to take you through my personal journey, and not from a point of I know it all, not from a point that this is the script to success, but just from a point of I did this. And I always fear people even taking notes, because this is my journey, and hopefully if you can pick up something from it, I come in that humility. I come in just to say, okay, this is my story, and you can see it from there. Now, I took a very long way around. If you see, I could have come from here, from Manguzi, where I was born, straight to Joburg. I could have done all that. So I was born in a rural area called Lingana in 1983. And my parents believed in education. So I moved there and I went to Ngwelezane, that's near Richards Bay. Anyone from Ngwelezane? Anyone? Yebo, all amkhaya. That's what's up. Sikhona eJozi. All right, sila, sfikile. Yeah, so lived in the township, B334, and I always talk about these two economies because my parents believed in education, so I used to catch a taxi and go to a so-called Model C school, which was quite weird. And that's where the interest of entrepreneurship started, because I'd wake up in a township, go to a school, and just see what they have there and what I have there. And then what I started doing is bringing some of the product from Ekasi to sell at school. It was called Iyobo. Who knows Iyobo? Those chips. Yeah, I used to sell Iyobo, and then I used to buy tops with that money and come and sell the spin tops in the township. And then I moved to Durban. Durban, I went to a school called Durban High School. I played rugby and I had an academic scholarship. And that's where the first time I knew what an entrepreneur was. So this is how it happened. I went to a school that played rugby, and we came for an Easter festival here in Kes and Jeppe, King Edward. I think it's the 15th, is the what? All right? And what parents did there is that they picked you. So you stood in a line and someone came to host you, right? So they picked me. It was the first time I saw a car called a Discovery, Land Rover Discovery. I remember sitting there, I'm like, yeah, manj. Yeah, and I sat at the back, I was like, this is comfortable, right? And we went to a place, and funny enough, my offices now are very near the place. It's in Houghton. And I remember the gates opening to this house, right? And when the gates opened, the driveway was longer than my street at home. I had never, there's no trees. I was like, this is a lot of trees here. Who's cutting this garden? And then when I got to the room, they gave me my own room and an intercom that you could phone. I think it was Mavis, and he could bring you something. And I tested this out. I was like, "Sonmona mang orange juice." Tugu. 5 minutes later, orange juice. Hey bo. And then when the kids were playing at the end, I went and approached this father, right? And his name was Mr. Spencer. So I said he was in the study. I remember it clearly. They were playing some game there, Sega. I went and sat with him. And I ended up spending hours with this man. And I said, what do you do? And he said to me, I'm an entrepreneur. And that's the first time I'd heard the term entrepreneur. And I said, okay, what does an entrepreneur do? And he said this to me, and I still remember. He said, an entrepreneur identifies an opportunity, right? Identifies an opportunity, sees a gap, plans for it, and sees what they can do with that opportunity, and then makes money off it. Now that part is very important, because if you don't do that, then it's just a hobby, right? So you identify an opportunity, you plan what you're going to do with that opportunity, and then you make money off it. That's what entrepreneurship is all about. So in Durban, when I came back, I was a mess. I wanted this entrepreneurship thing. And my parents were saying, no, you can't do this thing. So I decided to run away and go to UCT so I can live my entrepreneurial best life without uncle spotting me. And I started throwing events. Lloyd knows me from there. I started throwing events. I started throwing events so much that we had one of the biggest events at Ostrich Farm. I got stopped the other day by someone saying, you made me fail chemical engineering. I'm like, how can I wasn't even in, I was studying law. I was like, I didn't even do chemical. I had to decide whether to go to your party or to study. And they chose my party. And that what I'd identified as an opportunity. It's an opportunity that students like to party. I'd seen it, I'd converted it, I'd started flying down DJs or DJ Tira, Black Coffee, Fresh, and that opportunity was turned into money. And then Duna was born. And Duna disappeared, and I came to Joburg. I started an agency called Avatar because there was a gap in the market. Our people were always dancing in adverts. And this time I was a lawyer, and I said to my mom, here's your degree. I remember graduating, and I said, thank you very much. All this law is yours now. You can take it, you can frame it. Me, I'm going to a school called Red and Yellow, and I'm going to go study marketing. But drawing pictures, got it degree, and at this stage, I was making money, so I could afford to say that. So fast forward, we started with nothing. My business partners, Busiso Mkwanazi, and I started literally with nothing. This year, we made a turnover, last financial year, which is February, 200 million rand turnover. Yeah? And this shows the growth of entrepreneurship. I always say this country, we can't rely only on raw materials and stuff, because the biggest raw material is here. Okay, this is the computer. Now, if we can change a startup of 2,000 rand to this turnover, and hopefully more in the future, God willing, that is what entrepreneurship can do, not only for our lives, but for your lives as well, right? So I'm just going to deep dive a bit into the lessons I've learned along the way. Now I was feeling very honest when I wrote this, and again, it's not prescriptive, it's not right, it's just the things that I've learned that I've got in my business and my personal life here. So I'm just going to take you there. So the first is to build a global business from day one. I think people sometimes have got this fantasy of a startup. And I'm like, surely 2-3 years later, it's no longer a startup. It's a business now, right? From day one, start shaping your business to be a business. Because there's a startup trap where you're like, and about a year later, so start with the ambitious dream of setting up your business, because the problem is, if you don't set it up like that, you never recover, right? If you don't know the difference between your personal account and your business account, it won't stop, right? If when you have a chance to swipe your card at a restaurant and you know it's not business related, but you use your business card, that cancer will grow, right? If you as the boss don't arrive on time, that cancer will grow. Because in startup, start yourself to prepare for global domination. Now, this is something that I've always believed in, that don't rely on BE policies. I think a lot of people have set up BE-relevant companies. What happens when the policy changes? What happens when the intensity of the policy changes? Your business should be able to operate anywhere in the world. And black economic empowerment is important, and it's a beautiful benefit if it happens to you, right? Being female-owned is beautiful. We 100% black-owned, it's beautiful. But that's not what we trade on. That's a good bonus, but it's not what you say, yeah, I'm a black business, so therefore, no. It must be a kick-ass business first, right? The truth is, and I'll tell you the truth about most of our corporates, they're not transformed. And some of them are fighting to transform. So sometimes they put a black person in front as if they are making the decisions. But when you dig deep into the organization, they haven't transformed. That's why they don't appoint us. That's why we have to fight harder. That's why we have to be better. That's why we have to bounce back and not be angry when we lose. Because our time is coming. And everyone here who's an entrepreneur must not be bitter if you don't get a deal. Because there are people out there that are transforming, and we will get there. It's a creative economy. I think people haven't learned that they can convert their ideas into something worthwhile. Ekasi, we have ideas emakoneni, people just in the corner having brilliant ideas, having brilliant insights, watching people go past, and we've got this thing, ukwara, that's content. People are spewing out good content for free, and they haven't learned to package it. So for me, the fascination was, how do I become an active participant of this creative economy? Because I really think, with the issues and the opportunities in Africa, and especially with technology now, the world is our oyster, especially with soon having the youngest continent globally, and the type and the grain of problems that we have. I've traveled. People are pretty vanilla in the rest of the world. They're not dealing with some of the issues that we are dealing with. So I believe that with the bigger problems that we face is a bigger chance for innovation, is a bigger time for creativity and actually changing the status quo. And with technology, it's the biggest catalyst for us to achieve our goals. Company culture is everything. So what happens, people get surprised. I don't have an office. I sit everywhere in open plan because I believe that I must, but I've heard very strange things. Sometimes it's not good. But it's good to grow a business like that. So company culture is everything. Now, entrepreneurship is about bravery, right? You need to be fearless to be an entrepreneur, right? You need to be unshaken because it is tough. And there's some days, especially for those who have left corporate for entrepreneurship, I think it's even harder, right? It's even harder because there's a comfort of a paycheck. There's a comfort of knowing that when you go to that place will be there. Nedbank, and that fear should drive you. And that bravery, you must manifest and channel it towards positivity. Don't throw stones in the dark. You never know who you will hit. Now, from day one, when you run a business, I see people, and I'm one to observe. I don't go to Tasha's a lot, but when I see people at Tasha's trying to do business or pretending to do business, I laugh. Because some of the conversations are about other people. Some of the conversations are about gossip. Stay out of that if you're a business person. I love all my brothers. All my black-owned agencies, I love. I love your odd numbers. I love Mona Lisa Riverbed. Those are the people. So don't gossip. Don't talk about other people. Talk about yourself. Talk about what you want to do. Because you never know what door that will close. So when you're throwing stones, you don't know who you'll hit. And sometimes what you said 5 years ago might come to haunt you 10 years later. Be careful what you say with your mouth. Be careful who you say it with. Whether it's in a club, whether it's in a restaurant, what you say, you must be able to say to that person in front of their face. Because it damages your reputation. If Musushama Whisker, Ambalo, hey, Veli, I wanna avatar, we made them. Don't do that. Be careful of what you say. So from the day you start your business, become that CEO of a global brand and almost pretend. Do you know what listed companies do? When the CEO does something, the share price falls. If a CEO of a listed company is seen falling out of taboo, his share price will fall. It will make headlines. So treat your own personal brand as if you'll make headlines. Right? If something goes wrong. All right? Do what you love. Now, this is very important. This helps in the hard times. People get into businesses because kunenyuku. Ukuthi yabona ku-tracking. Awano senzo, buka. Ayidabula. Same holdings. Ayinja. 72 cars nami ngiyangena. No. Find your passion and follow it, because when you do what you don't love or you don't appreciate, you will crumble, because this thing is tough. Now, I love advertising. I love communicating. I love people. And that's what keeps me going, even if we lose a client. Because I know I've got the responsibility to communicate to even more people out there. So love what you do. Choose what you love. Even if society thinks, how can you leave being a lawyer to throw my Popeye, as some would say in my family? Get a good accountant. So the first things and the most expensive things that you must get when you run a business is get a good lawyer and get a good accountant, because they'll advise you through it. And as I said in my speech, a financial tip of being able to separate what is business money and what is your money. You find that as you make more money, people don't even pay themselves salaries in their own companies. And then there's a blur between the business account and their own personal account. So discipline is vital. If you are disciplined about how you spend, and even when you are making money, the small things still matter. You have to watch the printing. I know a lot of people in the company. You have to watch who's printing what and is it necessary. And you have to make your business efficient financially. But I think discipline in your financial decisions, being able to separate what is business money and what is your personal money. So allow yourself to be broke, even if your business is rich. Keep it simple. Understand your business. We in this era of wanting to be complex and over-intelligent. What do? I make adverts. If you read my Twitter profile at Nduna, I say I sell ideas. That's the simplicity of what I do. I go to client, I sell ideas, they buy the ideas, I get paid, and the rest of the over 100 people get paid. We sell ideas. Don't complicate what you do. Simplify it and stay positive. Always look up, because negativity, imposter syndrome, mina nkosi yami ngamhlabela ingane nje ngenzani la aramsa abantu nkosi yami ngizalwa i-single mother ngizoba yini nje egoli, there's khona abantu abaya ko Hilton. No, own it, stay positive, because all of you here have got it. If you know Google kwamhlabela ingane where I come from, and you'll know that it's possible. You should be dominating the continent by now. All right. Now, this is very important. Now, as I say, I'm not prescribing religious beliefs or whatever. This is my process. This is what has helped me throughout the years. Trust God in His process. Inkosi mivumile ukuthi uzoyiwina leyo nto ivumile. And mingavumanga ayivumanga. So if you get ukuthi, when you get, I'm sure we've gotten a lot of rejection here. An email, whether it's positive just in the first sentence. There's some emails that I haven't even read the rest. You kind of get it before we regret you. But congratulations, uzamile, but. And then to add insult to injury, they say, you can come see us for feedback. I'm like, I know, next week, not today. Pray and tithe for your business. We do it. That's what has grown our business. So we are involved in the community at Sakane. We are involved with young people. We incubate a lot of young businesses that I don't have the time to talk to, but contribute. Don't make this thing just about yourself. There's enough. You can drive whatever you want, you can live wherever you want, but until you start impacting other people's lives, you're not doing much. So in our offices, in our lives, we've committed, and in the battles that we've done, and in the mistakes that we've done, we don't want other young people to do that. If some of them that know me as Nduna, the first thing I did at 22 was go buy a gold M3. Yeah, I was like, yeah, I didn't have property. I was like, yes, Nduna GP, let's rock. Asambeni, Skupu, I imported rims. It's not a bad thing if you like that type of stuff, but we don't need to make the same mistake. So we are always doing that. Praying and tithing for our business is something we do. So I say to you, crazy one, I say to you, entrepreneur, I say to you, fearless one, go out and conquer. Not many people will understand you, you know. Before you make it, people think you are crazy. And when you make it, I'm a congratulations to Saibona. You know, this avatar thing, I just knew it was going to work. Because think about it, there's not many black-owned agencies, so it was a space. But those are the same people that said, Ukona Ogilvy, no MNC such able. Where do you think there's a space for a black-owned agency? So there will be doubters, and it's natural, there has to be. Otherwise, they would be doing it themselves. Even detractors, even in your own relationship. Luckily, I've got a very supporting wife. Thank you, Nikki. But even people that you think love you, there'll come a point where they said you shouldn't have left that job at Nedbank. Buga manje slambile. Buga manje, i-3 series isihambile, usuhamba ngama Uber. What do you mean, you know? So you are the crazy ones, and all the best for your journey. I live by trusting God. You know, I trust God, I pray. So I don't think it's a motto. I think it's a way of life. And that's why I can handle disappointment and achievement in the same breath. Because I come from a school of thought that says, God willing, you know, if it happens, it was meant to be. And if it wasn't, then it's not my path. So I would say trust God and His process. We just aim to be better than the rest, and even better. We put in more hours, we put in more work, we put in more strategy, we hired the best people, and we fought, you know. We just wanted to be better than the rest, so when people were giving 50%, we gave 150%.
And to let you go, I'm going to ask you one question. You can keep it as concise as possible. Something that whenever your name comes up in a room, I think about a lot. Everyone has that switch. Like, for instance, you were sharing the story about how your life was throwing some of the hottest parties, and then you switched into this career. What is that one thing that right now, that with everything that you know now, the one thing that you would tell Unduna back at UCT?
Don't buy cars. Buy more property. Look, I enjoyed it. Look, I think every part of your life, when you look back, has meant something for the future. So I don't believe in mistakes outwardly.
Yeah.
I believe everything that when we look back, even exes, they've got a lesson and they've got something to teach you. So ultimately, I don't believe in mistakes. I believe in building blocks and being able to correct, and it influenced me. Had I not made some of the mistakes, I probably would be making them now. Had I not done certain things. So it's all a journey, and it's your journey. Enjoy it. So I'd tell Nduna to rock on.
Rock on, Baba.
I believe in milestones, and I believe for your company, even for your own personal journey, there's certain things. So what I use as benchmarks might be different to you. For us, we went for blue chip clients. We didn't want the local spaza from the beginning. So it's when we won Fox International channels, when we launched Walking Dead International, when we, I remember when we won Fox, there was only 3 of us in the office. And they were like, so there's this big show called Walking Dead. Can you service it? And I'm like, of course we can service this thing. I mean, it's for the continent. So that was my benchmark to win big clients. We set out to do that, and that's what we did. So set your objectives, to what you want to do is different to anyone. And just lastly, I know we run out of time. Success is different to everyone, you know. And I think we're in a society where we might see other people with certain assets or certain things and think that's success. Maybe it's being able to walk with your kid on the beach and having time with your family. That could be success. So set out what is success to you and reach it. And that becomes your milestones. I can't say the Avatar story is your milestone. Set up what you want your company to be and set a time to say, in a year, I want to do this. So living better for me is being able to do the choices freely without restrictions. So living better in the future is being able to give time to my family. Living better in the future is being able to travel where I want to travel. Living better is being able to make an impact in the community. So my philosophy is that it's not, living better is not just about me, when I can make impact. So for me, the over 100 people that I employ, it's good, but the fact that they can impact other lives is living better for me. My influence and my light in their lives and what we do to create employment is living better. So I guess I'm already living better in a way. But to create employment is living better. To be able to control your time is living better. To be able to decide what I want to do and what I don't want to do is living better. People take it for granted. You know, there's a large sector of society and the population that doesn't decide what they want to eat. You know, deciding what you want to have for lunch is living better. Deciding who you associate with is living better. So that's what I would say.